Just ahead on CTV News, Labor Day weekend is in full swing. Find out what's the best time to travel. And we sit down with the president of Prince George's Community College. Plus,
a black family-owned business in Prince George's County is providing senior care to those in need. I'm Bryce Parker. We'll have more coming up on CTV News.
Those stories and more, CTV News starts now.
Good evening, this is CTV News for August 30th. I'm Michaela Newton. Thanks so much for joining us. Well, Labor Day weekend is finally here, and if you missed yesterday's show, here are the times that you should expect to cross the Bay Bridge to avoid as much traffic as possible. Today would be a good idea to wait to cross the bridge until 9 p.m. Tomorrow, you should be passing through the bridge by 9 a.m. or you should wait until after 6 p.m. Sunday, September 1st. You can sleep in a little before making your way across the bridge. You want to be on the other side of the bridge by 11 a.m. or after 6 p.m. And on Labor Day, you should not cross the bridge for the 12-hour stretch between 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. And new questions are surfacing about Governor Wes Moore's integrity following a 2006 report. The New York Times says Moore claimed in a document that he earned a Bronze Star for his service in Afghanistan, but he never actually received one. Now, in response, Moore's office released a statement saying he was advised to include the Bronze Star on his application for a White House fellowship by his deputy brigade commander, who had recommended him for the award. Moore says he was later disappointed to find out he never actually received it and regrets not making that correction sooner. And the Maryland Transportation Authority took the first step Thursday toward building a replacement for the toppled Francis Scott Key Bridge when it awarded a contract to construction giant Kiewit Infrastructure Company for the project's first phase. An article written in the Baltimore Sun says the agency's board approved a contract that will allow pre-construction and design work to start next week, marking a notable chapter in the 5-month-long saga of the Key Bridge collapse and aftermath. Now, the $73 million design phase contract awarded to Omaha, Nebraska-based Kiewit Corp. is a down payment on what is expected to be at least a $1.7 billion project to replace the Key Bridge over the Patapsco River. And a Chester, Maryland woman has been charged with a DUI after police say she caused a 20-vehicle chain reaction crash on the Bay Bridge back in January. It was a foggy Saturday morning when police say 48-year-old Gwendolyn Persina was speeding in her 2018 Honda Civic when she crashed into another vehicle. Just before 8 a.m., secondary crashes that followed involved another 20 vehicles, leading to lanes being closed for about 6 hours. In addition to the DUI, Persina is being charged with driving on a suspended license. And former governor and Republican Senate candidate Larry Hogan is coming under fire for recent comments he made. According to reports last week during a telephone town hall, Hogan dismissed the concerns of an LGBTQ plus Marylander who brought up his record as governor that would protect LGBTQ rights and people. Now, when confronted, Hogan allegedly said, quote, "Bills pass and they can become law, and I did not oppose them. And so I don't exactly know which bills you're referring to or when they passed."
Another example of how Governor Hogan is not the right choice for us for the United States Senate. His absence of signature from many pieces of legislation, I think, show us that when he gets to the United States Senate, he's going to be silent on the issues that impact LGBTQ Marylanders and folks across the country. I think when you look at this race, and what is so important is that we have a Democratic majority in the United States Senate, and electing Hogan means that he'll be the 51st vote for a Republican majority who we know is thinking about and wants to strip away the rights and protections for many communities. And you see that outlined in their Project 2025 playbook.
And Martinez is the first openly gay member of the General Assembly from Prince George's County. Meanwhile, Hogan visited Paint Branch Elementary School in College Park yesterday. While at the school, he spoke with students and answered their questions. The campaign also collected and gave out backpacks, notebooks, and classroom supplies in celebration of the new school year. In a statement, Hogan said, quote, "I loved hearing thoughtful questions from some of Prince George's rising stars. Maryland's future is brighter than ever with these young innovators, artists, and leaders at the helm." And Prince George's police responded to a deadly shooting in Capitol Heights yesterday. The shooting happened inside the Oriental Express restaurant on Marlboro Pike. Officers arrived on the scene around 4:40 p.m. and found 27-year-old Victor Rubio suffering from gunshot wounds. Investigation shows that Rubio was shot by an employee after robbing the restaurant and assaulting employees. No customers were inside during that shooting, and anyone with information on this case is asked to call 301-516-2512. And a former district dogs employee has been indicted on felony animal cruelty charges after allegedly kicking a puppy to death earlier this year at their Navy Yard location in D.C. Now, 33-year-old Adriano Demaris from Prince George's County, Maryland, faces up to 5 years in prison if convicted. Now, prosecutors say the man was feeding dogs earlier one morning when the 5-month-old puppy named Bronny was near his feet. They claim he kicked the puppy, who then collapsed and later died from severe internal injuries. And for 65 years, Prince George's Community College has been a staple for higher learning right here in the county. Now, with construction underway and enrollment up, the future of the community college is bright. Leading the college in its rapid growth is President Dr. Felicia Williams, and CTV News sat down with Williams as fall classes begin this week.
The academic year is so exciting. I mean, it's the beginning of a time where we welcome new students, and we're just really excited to partner with our residents.
Fall classes here at Prince George's Community College began earlier this week, and leading the 65-year-old educational institution into the future is Dr. Felicia Williams, the 9th president of PGCC.
So I think the next 30 years, if I may look at it that way, are going to be remarkable. First, with the introduction of artificial intelligence, we will see the community college advance to being more technologically enhanced. We will see that embedded in all of our operations, the way we deliver our learning services. We will see the distribution of our campuses and our locations change because the county is changing, and so we're going to need to be more responsive to the population patterns.
Williams says the college already has a 2040 plan that could potentially put a facility in the southern part of the county. This comes as PGCC is set to open Marlboro Hall, a student academic building, this year, and construction plans are already in the works for 2 other buildings.
So if you don't have a presence, then people don't have access, and access is critically important. And because this is such a vibrant area, that also means that transportation can sometimes be a challenge. So without a presence in the southern part of the county, then people are really having to commute almost 2 hours if they're using public transportation.
Williams says graduation rates have doubled in the last 3 years, and this year enrollment has seen a 10% increase.
We're seeing that our high school student population is engaging with us at a higher percentage. We're seeing students that had stopped out, perhaps because of COVID and life changes, are returning this year. And I'm really thrilled because many of our students are being retained, so our retention rate is higher.
Williams credits community colleges like Prince George's Community College in being the most affordable and accessible pathway to a baccalaureate degree. Reporting in Largo, Katara Jones, CTV News.
And Williams has been the president of the community college since June of 2020. She says that with the continued growth, PGCC is positioning itself to a leading regional institution. Well, 2 men are dead and a woman is in critical condition after a pair of shootings in Rockville and Laurel that police believe might be connected. It all started around 8 a.m. Thursday when officers found a critically injured 60-year-old man on South Lawn Lane in Rockville. He was rushed to the hospital but did not survive. A truck where police later discovered a 54-year-old man who had died from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound found leaving the scene is linked to a domestic incident that happened the night before in Laurel, about 20 miles away. Montgomery County and Laurel police are now working to see if these incidents are related, and no names have yet been released. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Michaela Newton. Still to come, a Prince George's County woman receives an achievement award for her work with other women. We'll have those details when we come back.
A 19-second conversation with a stranger online can put your child in danger of being exploited or abused.
Talking to kids about online safety can protect us for a lifetime. Don't wait. Talk to us today.
Welcome back. We now have an update in the fatal hit and run that occurred last Tuesday in Bladensburg. The victim has been identified as 64-year-old Susan Woodward of the district. Now, Woodward was fatally hit by a car around 11:30 p.m. on Bladensburg Road near the Peace Cross Memorial. The driver fled the scene. However, investigators have identified a person of interest and will be placing charges in the near future. But anyone with additional information is asked to contact Crime Solvers. And everyone needs a mentor, and for women in high power management positions, it can often feel like you're on your own and you might even feel discouraged. One local Prince George's County woman's mission is to change that mindset. CTV's Mariah Gillette spoke with Dr. Madeline Ann Lewis, whose mission is empowering women and helping them succeed.
My mother used to tell me, you can do anything that you set your mind to do, as long as you don't give up on you.
Dr. Madeline Lewis has been awarded as a visionary, an enterpriser, and now a lifetime achiever. Lewis is a recipient of this year's Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award for her service as the CEO and founder of the Executive Women's Success Institute.
My mission has always been to help women to accelerate their path to success or to tap into their full potential. And with getting that award, they made me realize that that's a good mission.
The Success Institute offers programs and mentorship for women in business.
I help women who are trying to get into upper management or executive level positions. I also work with female veterans who are transitioning out of the military into business entrepreneurship.
It was during her service in the military where her female colleagues first began asking her for advice on achieving promotions. That inspired her to create the Success Institute and give every woman the tools she needs to succeed.
So that I could be able to help more women to be able to move out of some of those positions that they were stuck in and couldn't figure out why, I'm not getting promoted. What's wrong with me? Nothing's wrong with you. It just may be some things that you need to do so that you can move from point A to point B.
For women that may have dreams of pursuing business but don't have the confidence to start, Dr. Lewis says, shift your mindset.
Drop that attitude. Do not embrace that attitude, because I'm no special than anyone else out there. I'm not. Whatever that thing is that you love the most, that thing that will keep you going, that thing that will make you wake up in the morning, then that's the thing that you use to encourage you to say to yourself, if I can do this, I can do anything.
In Upper Marlboro, Mariah Gillette, CTV News.
And to learn more about Dr. Lewis and her program, visit executivewomenssuccessinstitute.com. And starting next month, Prince George's County Public Schools will be breaking ground on 8 new schools. They include 6 elementary schools and 2 pre-K through 8th grade academies, and all 8 will be net zero schools. Now, this is all a part of the school system's Blueprint Schools Phase 2 project. Now, construction expected to begin in September and finish in 2028 with 3 delivery dates, each in summer of 2026, 2027, and 2028. And getting older is just a circle of life, and Senior Helpers is here to provide services to help families with assisting the elderly in their later stages of life. Bryce Parker is in Mitchellville with more.
How do I actually help my mom or dad get up from the bed? How do I just take them into the bathroom and help them bathe when I don't have that caregiver there?
We will all either be the senior who needs help or the helper of a senior. And when that time comes, Senior Helpers of Prince George's County will be there.
We provide a personalized caregiver service. So those services include companion care as well as personal care.
Husband and wife Tamara and Jeffrey Clay set up shop less than a year ago, becoming partners in matrimony and in business.
She's a visionary. She brought it to me, and I just was like, I'll support you, any way you want to get it started. She's got the entrepreneurial spirit, and then, like she said, it was perfect time, and it became very personal for us. So really what we put into it is energy.
So one of the things that they do at Senior Helpers is know how to change a bed pad and how to transfer a senior who is in need. And DJ is going to demonstrate on me.
We always try to make sure that families always have a gated belt. This is less stress on my body, which means I can provide better care for you. Keep your leg in the direction that you're going free. So you want to be able to make sure that your leg that you're going to be putting the most weight to, you always lift with your legs, not your back. 1, 2, 3. And then we're just going to inch over to the bathroom. And because my leg is free on this side, I have more freedom and control on moving his body.
Both Jeffrey and Tamara have had parents and grandparents who needed assistance in their later stages of life. And with Senior Helpers, they are providing the standard of care that they would give to their loved ones.
In my experience, if you can get somebody qualified to come into the home where that person can still be around loved ones consistently, and I just feel like it extends their spirit, extends their life, and gives them a better quality.
Bryce Parker, CTV News.
All right, Bryce, thanks so much. Well, if you need to get in contact with Senior Helpers, you can dial 800-760-6389. And now it's time for our Metro Minute. If you ever thought your flight took too long at BWI Airport, you were right. A recent report shows the airport has a second highest rate of delayed flights in the country. Data showed that from April 2023 to March 2024, 29% of flights left 15 minutes later than they were supposed to. And looking for a place to move? Well, the city of Cumberland has you covered. A part of Cumberland's limited time pilot program, eligible applicants will be offered $20,000 to relocate to a new home. Plus, the American Lung Association in Maryland is adding 2 new research opportunities for its 2025-2026 Research Awards. One will research the impact of indoor air quality on lung health. The second will be a collaboration to celebrate the association's 120th anniversary. And that wraps up our Metro Minute. Coming up on CTV News, cybersecurity analyst Dr. Kelp Charles is in the studio to talk about keeping your children safe online. We'll be right back.
The climate that we're operating under has everyone on the defensive.
You see a person and you automatically put them in a box and say, well, this is what this person should be like.
All of this ostracizing people, what are we afraid of?
We're called to love one another. It can't be, I reject you as a person.
This country's been through so much. Its people has been through so much. Why can't we fix this?
Do we have issues we have to deal with? Yes, we do. But we're not going to be able to deal with them if we're fighting and yelling at each other and not listening.
Yeah, she has an accent. Oh, God, she dressed funny. But we're talking the same thing. Mm-hmm. We're all concerned about our children, concerned about the world we live in.
A lot of people wouldn't even think we should be here talking to each other, but I'm sorry, I disagree.
Welcome back. As students are heading back to school, the digital world is more intertwined with their educational experience than ever before. Now, while this connectivity offers numerous benefits, it also presents significant risk, especially for younger users who may not fully understand the potential dangers. And joining us in the studio today to talk about some of those dangers is cybersecurity expert and educator Dr. Kelp Charles. Dr. Charles, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so students are back in school and technology is everywhere these days. You know, kids have different online activities and things like that. So what are some things that they should be aware of in order to stay safe online?
Yeah, so as you stated, teachers are using these online platforms to provide assignments, to collect assignments, and to communicate with students as well as parents. And that has exposed them to the convenience of the internet. But it also does possess some risks. And some of the risks that we are concerned about is cyberbullying, because you are on these devices a lot more. Cyberbullying is when you're harassed through digital media, and you know, a lot of students might have to deal with that. In conjunction, we're talking about phishing attacks. This is when messages are sent to the students asking for information. And the risk with phishing attacks are with identity theft or theft of financial information. As always, online predators is something that we need to worry about. The more times that you spend online, the more exposures that you have for individuals that might pretend to be a friend and actually it's not a friend. And those are some dangers that we're definitely concerned about.
And recently, a teacher here in the area was actually accused of some inappropriate actions using Roblox. So what are some ways that people can or students in particular, can be aware of those attacks against them?
Yeah, so one of the key things that we see is very beneficial is communications. Being able to talk to the student, let them know what appropriate and inappropriate behavior consists of. Also, as a parent, putting certain types of guardrails on their digital devices. Many devices have built-in parental controls, as well as you could purchase external parental controls to kind of gauge what activities that are occurring.
And what about creating passwords? Should students be changing their passwords often when it comes to online and social media?
Yeah, with passwords, there are a lot of things that students can do to protect themselves. One of the first things is to use what are known as passphrases. Passphrases give the illusion of random character, so to speak. So when we talk about passphrases, if there's a particular song, a particular phrase from a movie that you like, you could use the first characters from those particular phrase to create the password. In conjunction by adding special characters, numbers, strengthen the password even more. So again, by doing so, those will definitely help in protecting the student.
And I know one of the things that we do when we go to a new place is we ask, what is the Wi-Fi? So is there certain dangers with asking for Wi-Fi or public Wi-Fi?
Yeah, public Wi-Fi is definitely a big problem. For example, when connecting to public Wi-Fi, it may not be secure where information is being sent in the clear text. It may be a malicious access point that someone put up to steal the information. So one of the key things is that if you are using public Wi-Fi, not to do any type of sensitive transactions like checking your financial records and your emails and things of that nature. And if possible, if you have a VPN on your device, if it's a laptop or a phone, use that particular VPN.
And one of the things you talked about was limiting screen time. What ways can people go through their settings to ensure that they are limiting that screen time?
Yeah, one of the key things that psychologists as well as security professionals recommend is to prevent at least an hour of use time before the student goes to bed. In digital devices, you're able to go in and set time frames when the device should not be accessed and certain applications should not be accessed. So again, by using those built-in controls, you're able to implement those type of capabilities. And again, there's always commercial over-the-shelf software that you could purchase that can also implement those types of activities.
And we know that technology is constantly changing and evolving. So in the future, what do you see that some things that we can kind of stay away from and be aware of?
Yeah, so one of the key things is, applications that are not applications that are not legal, so to speak. A lot of individuals try to download applications that are not from the particular store. So again, staying and using the right type of applications is very important. And also using malware, malware tools to prevent malware from taking over your device. And as always, one of the key things that we find works very well is communication. Communicating with the student, telling them what is proper behavior and what is not proper behavior has helped a lot in the future.
All right, Dr. Charles, a lot of things to keep in mind. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much. And after the break, Simon Buggs has our Friday Sports page, and he's talking all about football from Duval High School. We'll be right back.
What's up, sports fans? Don't move, because I've got a great sports page for you lined up today, as I got the chance to speak to the head coach and some players from the Duval High School football team. I'll have more details in a bit. Stay tuned.
When we have the food we need, we are at our best. We push further. We rise higher. We unlock our full potential. When we have the food we need, we make our communities stronger. Together, we can help everyone get the food they need to thrive. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
All right, everyone, it's time for your Friday sports page. Now, there are so many high school football teams in the county that are looking to make some noise this year. And I went to Lanham to talk to one team in particular about the 2024 season. It's an exciting time for the Duval High School football squad as the start of the season is right around the corner. And the team began fall practice recently to sharpen their skills and work out their kinks ahead of the regular season opener. I caught up with head coach Darren McKinney, and he told me what his point of emphasis is in these practices.
The kids are working hard, and I think the main objective now is just to teach them what hard work is all about. That's been an issue with our kids as far as understanding hard work and what it takes to be a strong student athlete. And the summer was mainly geared into getting them in shape and you know, pushing them as hard as we can. And now the preseason is just taking it to another level, and that's what we want to do.
The Tigers finished at 5-5 in 2023, and left tackle and defensive end Promise Adekusibe touched on what he wants to see from his team again to live up to their potential this year.
I feel like last season what we did well was kind of like understanding each other as a team, and we had good team chemistry, so I feel like if we're able to implicate that this year with our heart and our effort, our record is going to be so much better and our season is going to go so much smoother.
Another big factor that'll play a part in the Tigers' season going smoothly is how well the team's offense performs. And McKinney talked about a position on that side of the ball that he's excited to finally have some stability at.
One of the things that we haven't had since I've been here is a quarterback. You know, my first couple of years, you know, we had to move people around who weren't quarterbacks naturally. You know, they were receivers or whatever, and we made them, you know, quarterbacks just for the sake of the team. But I think this year we have a true quarterback, and you know, he's young, he's raw, but hopefully that'll be something that we can build upon and something that would be a strong point in our team this year.
And the name of that QB is Mikhail Tatum. And Tatum told me what he's worked on to help this team be the best it can be.
I've been working more on just my leadership, you know, because, you know, like you said, Coach said I want to take this team to the next level, and I definitely think I should get full control of the team with my leadership.
The Tigers will open up the season against Frederick Douglass on September 2nd. Good luck this season, Duval. I'm rooting for you. Meanwhile, we are less than 24 hours away, Terps fans, from the start of football season. Maryland will take the field against UConn to start the year, and wide receiver Ty Felton spoke recently and talked about how the offense is preparing for the matchup.
I know their defensive coordinator is from Mississippi State, so we were watching a lot of film on that and stuff of that nature. But they're going to come out here highly competitive, winning these games. People call it a trap game because it's a team like UConn and us, but we know they're going to come out very competitive. They're going to come out tough. So it's a matter of us starting fast and doing what we know and just playing hard and coming out and starting fast.
Kickoff is at noon. And that wraps up your Friday sports page. Simon Bucks, CTV Sports.
All right, Simon, thanks so much. Well, let's get a look at our 3-day weather forecast. Showers and thunderstorms are expected all weekend. Saturday, expect some fog in the morning. Rain is expected after 2 p.m. and it's going to be 87 degrees. Sunday, more rain is on the way. We're looking at a high of 88 and a low of 66. Monday, good news though, Labor Day is going to be mostly sunny. We'll have a high of 80 and a low of 57. Finally, let's take a look at our community calendar. Tomorrow, State's Attorney Aisha Braveboy is hosting a multicultural justice festival. Come down to Fairwood Park for a day of cultural exploration through food, music, and dance. The State's Attorney Office will also have an information and resource table to learn more about the State's Attorney Office and activities. This event takes place from noon to 7, but for more information, contact that number right there on your screen, 301-952-3500. And that's all the time we have for CTV News tonight. Thanks so much for joining us and have a safe Labor Day weekend.